This conference will now be recorded.
So like yesterday we have discussed about that overview, right? So today what we'll discuss we'll discuss like what are the components of the Splunk and how to install the Splunk. Okay. So for any model, installation model, hope you are able to see my screen and able to hear me properly, right? Okay. So for Splunk, okay, you will be having one component called as like indexer. Okay. Splunk has multiple components out of which the component which is responsible for storing the data, okay, that is called as indexer. So in indexer, how it stores the data, right? It will store something like indexes. Okay, you will be having something like index. This is one index called Apache. Okay, like let's in which I will be storing only the logs. Okay, so why we are having something like this? Now here I am having something like another index I will be creating. Index is equal to, I'm creating one more index called as logs. Okay. So, but why I am creating index? So let's assume I am getting the data from multiple sources. Okay. So it may be like application servers, or it can be some Linux servers. It can be from Windows servers. Okay. So if I dump everything in one place, okay, in one room, okay, in one room, I am having some 10,000 books. If I dump everything, okay, it will be very hard for me to fetch, right? I don't know where the book is. Let's assume if it's a library. If the library is not organized and I am dumping every book the way I get, so it will be very hard me to retrieve the data. Let's assume in our college what they used to do, they used to segregate into something like departments like graduation, post graduation. After that, we will be having multiple departments like electrical engineering, computer science engineering, mechanical engineering. In that, they will be organizing something like year, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, right? In the same fashion, in the similar fashion, here also what we are organizing, right? We are storing all the Apache logs, okay, in one index. So when I search for that particular index is equal to Apache, then I will be presented with the data. It is not only the data which I'm like retrieving on that particular day or particular minute. Okay, I can retrieve the data of last 6 months or last 8 months or last 1 year based on my retention policy. Okay, retention policy is like how long I want to store the data. Okay, because everything is like money to maintain that high volumes of data, right? We need it involves cost. So that's why there will be something like a retention period, like 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Let's assume there is something like if you're working for some financial institution, okay, some bank or like insurance. So they want to store, like there will be some audit mechanisms, no, where they will be storing for last 6 months data, something like that. So in indexer you will be having something like index. Let's assume like you are having some project, okay, you are having some project, in that you are having some application, so you will be having index with that particular name. Got it? It does not be necessary like it should be Apache or like Linux. It can be your project name also. Okay, so if like it can be something like index is equal to project1 underscore something, okay, or hyphen, okay, whatever. Okay, so who will be sending the data to me? So there will be like multiple sources. Okay, there will be some Unix servers logs or like Windows server. Okay, now normally typically what we'll have, you will have something like OS. Okay, this is something like Windows machine. Okay, and I am having some operating system. Okay, this is Linux. Okay, in this I have installed one application. Okay, application 1. Okay, this is my application 2. So here I want to send the two logs. I want to send operating system logs, like let's assume if it's my Linux. In that I'm running some application 2 logs in slash app2 slash, okay, something like that. I'm having some custom log like Apache log or payments log, which I have to send. Okay, here this path would be something like somewhere messages or something. Okay, var log messages. So now if I want to send something to a destination, what type of information you need? So let's assume I want to deliver some package. Okay, let's assume trying to send one package to some other guy. What type of information you need for sending the data? Are you following? Hello? Okay. So here I'm having operating system as well as the application logs. Now I want to send the data to here. Till now I haven't installed anything over here. Okay. Till now I haven't installed anything over here. Here there is only one component which I have installed, that is the Splunk indexer. Okay. Splunk indexer is nothing but full package. This is a full package of Splunk. Basically, Splunk has two types of packages. One is this Splunk Enterprise Edition. Okay, a full package or Enterprise Edition we can call. And second is the client. So in client side where you want to send the data, you will be installing something like Splunk Universal Forwarder.
Uh, I have one question in that.
Mhm.
So all these Splunk indexers and all the application should be fall under the same IP group.
Not necessary. It should be connectivity should be there. That's it.
So for connectivity, we should make install the Splunk universal forwarder to each applications. Am I right?
I will tell you. I will tell you. So basically,
Okay.
right, this Splunk Universal Forwarder you will install in this box. If it is a Linux box, here I will install my Universal Forwarder. In this box, I will install. Okay. Now I have installed the package. First step is like install package. Okay. Okay. Now, if I install like AppDynamics or Dynatrace, you will be installing some agent to send the logs, right? Correct.
Yeah.
Here also the same. You will be installing the package. But here, right, if I want to send some data to like some indexer, right, I need to tell what I have to send and where to send. Yes or no? In other installations, what you will do basically, right, from server, you will take the agent and you will run it on your client. Automatically, the connectivity will be established. Correct. If it is in the APMs. But
Yes.
here it is not the
Yes.
case. So here what we have to do, right? We have to mention because this is a custom log. So if it is a JVM metrics, that is a standard, and in every application you will be sending the same. If it is like CPU, memory, and all, that is like that will be present in every system, right? So I can directly bundle and send them during installation. But when it comes to log, okay, I may have logs in one path, others may have log in other path, and someone wants to send all the logs that are present in the directory. Someone wants to send only specific log. So there is some customization required. Okay, so here I can send
Okay.
slash app. Okay, if it is something like, so I can send something like this. There are like multiple requirements, no? Slash app is there. In that I can send something like abc.log. Okay, and in that same path I'm having abc.properties. My goal would be to send my, I'm interested only in this log, right? I don't want to send it this one. Okay, let's assume like in app I'm having some abcdef.log. Okay, xyz.log. No, then I can put all the, I can put the directory itself. But here I'm having some two files. One is property, one is log. So I'm interested in only in this one. Okay, else I'm having some 10 logs, out of which I'm interested in only sending two logs, because other two logs I'm not using. Okay, so here I have to mention two things. I should be clear on two things. One is like what to send, and second is where to send. Got it? What to send is the, what to send, that will be configured in something like inputs.conf. Okay, and where to send, no, that will be present in the outputs.conf. Okay, so what data to send? Okay, I will be configuring in inputs.conf, and where to send means like the destination, that I will be mentioning in the outputs.conf. Okay, so now I am trying to send the data. Okay, so in Linux machine, the indexer, whenever it is installed, no, either in Windows or Linux, no, it will receive the data on 9997. Splunk indexer will only receive the incoming traffic or incoming data only in this 9997 port. Okay, if there are 10,000 machines or 100 machines or one machine, they have to send it to this particular port only in the Splunk indexer. Normally, for SSH, you know the port number.
880.
So for SSH, it is 22. So web, it will run on 80. Means here I am having one system. Okay, in that I am having some Splunk, I am having some application server, I'm having some MySQL. Okay, so basically, right, the host machine would be same for all the applications, but each will listen on different port, right? If I want SSH, I will use something like 22. Okay, and if it is an FTP, right, I think like it is 23. It's the same machine. If I want to give, right, I will give IP address colon 23. If it is a web, if I have installed some web server, okay, if I want to open the HTML, I will just give colon 80, hostname colon 80, right? If I have installed some MySQL, no, in it, I will be communicating with 3306, right? In the similar fashion, the Splunk will listen to the incoming traffic only in the 9997 port. Got
Okay.
it? So if I
Yeah.
want to send the data, I have to provide in outputs.conf, have to provide something like hostname colon this port number. Okay, so this is the bare minimum installation. Okay, this is the
So
very
this,
bare minimum
uh,
installation.
hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yes, yes.
So for like, is it like indexer listen to uh, from different platform or different servers, right? For Windows server, it's a different port, and for
No, no,
database, it's a different.
no, no, no. Oh, no, no. I didn't get you. Can you come again?
Okay, so suppose like I want to send data from a database and application server, web server, okay, or middleware for all kind of
Hmm.
platform, and which is installed across on different operating systems. Okay, for
Correct.
all of them, I can send data to this 9997 port, or for each
Yes.
platform different
Hmm. It is like 9997.
only, irrespective
Yes.
of technology.
Correct. Correct.
Fine. Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, got it. So everyone has to send data to this one. Okay, using this port only. Okay, for DB and all it will be different. Okay, you won't put universal forwarder here. Okay, there you will be having, yesterday you have mentioned, there will be having some app, okay, which will receive the data. Got it?
Okay, for database, oh, okay, actually, I
Mm,
didn't attend
ah,
yesterday's session, so
okay, okay.
database,
So
it's a different thing,
Splunk,
right?
okay, normally, right, if you want to send data, no, the Splunk, like if it is like host based systems, like if it is an operating system, okay, then we will install universal forwarder. Okay, now if I want to send some data from service now, or I want to send the data from Zira, then I can't, that is a third party, right? So I can't
Mm,
or AWS or Azure, I can't install universal forwarder in that Azure, no, as a whole. If it is like, if you are spinning an instance and in AWS, and if you want to monitor that log, means I can send. But as a whole, if I want to monitor like how many instances are running and all, I can't install universal forwarder. There you will be having separate apps, okay, which doesn't require universal forwarder. Just with your credentials, okay, you will be able to get the data. Got
okay,
it?
on Splunk itself, or they are those apps
No,
are
no, it is a
related to
web UI.
DevOps.
On
Sorry?
Splunk itself. In Splunk, there will be some apps which will be integrating. In that app, you have to give the credentials. With that credentials, it will try to fetch the required data and populate in the Splunk. Got it?
Okay,
And I have one question. Who will decide this, which data need to send or where need to send?
And developers like architects. So they will be like, for Windows, no, there are two aspects, right? For operating system, right, you will be having similar logs, event logs, where dot messages. Okay. So if you go to Linux, no, if you go to, there is some standard, no, slash var log. So you here you will be having all the logs of the system. Got it? If it is application, no,
Yeah,
then you will have the log path, no.
yeah, but my question is that so
Hmm.
on the basis on the which basis criteria will follow to decide whether we out of 10 logs, okay, we need to send the only two logs to monitorize. Is there any criteria where
That
we decided?
criteria, it
And
depends
who will
upon
take
like
the
what.
decision?
So let's assume, okay, log, basically logs will put the transactional data, right? Whatever the event, okay. If you think
Yes.
like, if I require an event to monitor, no, that basically logs are for storing the useful information. So if you want to put that data, if you want to, if your application needs that data, right, then you will put that log. There is some log, okay, there are two functionalities like payments and something like add to cart and payments. Okay, currently, right, you are having some what to say, payments only, sorry, orders only, you are getting the logs. Okay, payment, the functionality itself is not ready. Okay, then you will play with, or that thing is developed by someone, it is not yet ready, then you will put your only whatever that place order kind of thing. Okay,
Okay,
there are
it's a
rare
business.
cases, it's business, it's completely
Yes, business
business. And
analytics. Yes.
not business analytics. It's based on like your developers will know, right? What type of, let's assume for testing, you may require some two types of logs. Okay. The business for troubleshooting, whatever you require, right? Those logs will be placed.
Okay.
So there are different types of logs. Basically, like if there will be something like authentication logs. Okay, if someone logs in and logs out in your application, then it will be recorded in some log. Whenever you post a transaction, no, that will be recorded in some logs. One service will be there that will generate an independent log. Okay, that is based on like your application usage.
Got it.
Okay, but we should worry on like we should not worry. Our concentration would be more on like who will be what, how much retention we have to do, how many days of data we have to store. Okay, that business will take care of like what to send. Okay, just let me, give me 1 minute. My credentials, application credentials got blocked for Splunk. Okay, I will reset and I will share the screen. Any other doubts?
Yeah.
Uh,
So we are we going to do this hands-on, right?
Yes,
Configuring
yes.
inputs and
Yes, yes. We will do it in Windows as well as the Linux. Okay.
are we monitoring the real-time log analysis in that
Mhm. Yes, yes.
using Splunk?
Just a second. Yeah, we will be sure. I will be giving one demo on like how to get the logs, custom logs from Splunk. Sorry, from your application server to Splunk.
Your
Your voice
screen.
is, yeah, yeah. Just a second. My credentials got struck. Okay, got logged, so I'm resetting. I'm sharing the screen. Okay. So now, as I mentioned, there will be one enterprise edition. Okay. Here I was mentioning like it will be a full package. Splunk indexer will be a full package. Okay. So this is the current version is like 9.0.3. Okay, and we can install the Splunk server in Windows, Linux, and in Mac. Okay, but 98% or 99% of our Splunk environments would be spinned in Linux only. Okay, it is rare like you will have it in Windows or Mac. Like mostly 97 to 98%, everyone will go with the Linux distribution. Okay, so this is the Splunk Enterprise Edition, and here they are mentioning like 50 MB per day. Means if I am creating some index called Apache, per day I can ingest 500 MB of data. Okay, as this is a trial version, for every index it will support only 500 MB. Okay,
for every index or like
index for every
okay,
index.
so I can create multiple index in that then.
Yeah, you can create, not an issue, and it is valid for 60 days. The validity of this Splunk, right, it will be 60 days, but after 60 days what will happen means you will be able to do the searches. Okay, you will be able to do the search, but only thing is like it will be converted into the free license. Okay, where you won't have the advanced features, like you won't be able to create alerts, you won't be able to like send the reports. So those things won't be available. Got it? This is the Splunk Enterprise Edition. Okay, and I mentioned one more software, right? That is the universal forwarder. Basically we have to do the registration. I will tell you. Okay, give me a second, let it load. If you see the compatibility okay, between the server edition and the client edition, you will see here. So here in my server edition, if you see, right, each package is around like 450 MB, 450, 500. If you see, it is approximately more than 450 MB server edition. Okay, but if I see my go with my universal forwarder, no, it will be only 60 MB. It is a thin client, so there won't be overhead on your application where you install. Let's assume you are running some uh, application using Tomcat. In earlier versions, when the Splunk launched, it has only one software, that is the full version. Okay, so if you are running the Splunk, or if you are running this agent, they used to use the same package. Okay, that 400 MB or 300 MB when they released. Okay, so there used to be a lot of overhead on the application where it is installed. Means if I have installed to monitor some application A, the performance used to degrade. So they have come up with some separate package called as universal forwarder, which is a thing. If you see, right, it is something like 50 MB only. Got it? So there are two versions. If you see the compatibility, it is server edition is Windows, Linux and Mac. Whereas here, no, you will see lot of, it supports like Windows. Okay, in Linux also there are multiple flavors based on like ARM or like 64-bit or other stuff like Mac, FreeBSD, Solaris. Okay, if you are installing if you are having a Solaris machine, you can't install Splunk on it. There is no package. But if your application is installed in Solaris, no, maybe you can send this. You will be able to send the logs to the Splunk server, Solaris and AX. Clear till now? Okay, now what we will do, right? We will try to install the Splunk in this server. Okay, so what I will do, right? I will be going with this 64-bit tar package. Okay, so I have basically, right, first I have to do the registration. Okay, once I log in, that is pretty straightforward. It doesn't require any credit card or something. Just you have to use the business email ID and you have to log in. You try with this Google also, but normally it was asking like business email ID. Okay, now if I click on this download here, for Linux 64-bit, it supports DEB, RPM and tar. Okay, so if you are installing your Splunk on a Ubuntu server or Debian distribution, you can install. Okay, you not here. Okay. Oops. Yeah. So if it is a Debian server, you can install the Splunk on the Ubuntu with .deb. Okay, and if you are installing the Splunk server on a Red Hat based systems like CentOS, Fedora, RHEL, then you will be going with the RPM package. Okay, so I'm least bothered about the architecture, means just go with the tar.cz, tzz format. This will be support. This can be installed on any Linux flavor. Either it can be Windows, Ubuntu or Red Hat. So normally, right, we will be going with this. Okay, so I will be installing this one. I'm clicking on download. Once I click download, right, here you will be getting the pop-up. Okay, I am canceling the download. If you see here now, you will be getting something like useful tools. In useful tools, you will be getting something like command line. wget. Okay, so basically if I want to install Splunk now, first I have to download a local copy, and from there I am running a VMware. Okay, I have to copy that to the VMware and I have to install. Instead of that, right, they have provided a capability such that if I want to they will be providing a command line utility to download the package. Okay, so this is the utility, so directly I can copy it and I can install. Okay, so normally, right, Splunk will be installed in the OPT folder. Okay, I'm deleting the old packages. So first I have to, if I want to delete the Splunk, maybe, okay, what we can do, right, we have to stop the Splunk first. Okay, so Splunk is not running, fine, then I can delete it. I'm deleting it. Hope you, it is visible, no, my command line. Are you able to see the comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's visible.
So if I give the PWD, I'm in the doesn't work OPT. So Splunk should be installed in this directory only. Okay. Now what I will do, I will go and copy this and paste it here. That's it. It will directly download the package. Else no, I have to make a local copy, and from that local copy I have to upload into the VMware. Instead of that, right, I can directly use this wget to download the package. Sometimes in Linux, no, what will happen, right? You won't have wget package if you are installing for the first time. Command not found you will get. So you have to install yum install wget. I will show you that one as well. Let it download. Okay. So I have downloaded the package. Installation is very simple. Okay. Just to give r hyphen zxvf in the package name. Okay. If you install, right, the beauty of this package installation is like it's just unzipping. Okay, extracting the package. That's it. Okay, if you doesn't want, just delete the directory. Okay, but one thing you make sure, whenever the Splunk is running, okay, you don't try to delete the Splunk directory. Okay, when I extracted here, no, it created one directory. So what I did initially, when I tried to install, I just gave rm-rf and I give the directory name and it got deleted. Let's assume your Splunk is running. Okay, then if you delete, right, the whenever you install the Splunk, right, then this will fail, installation may fail. Why? Because I mentioned, here Splunk will use 9997 port. Okay, if I start the Splunk, and for WebUI, it will use 8000 port. Okay, these ports may not be stopped. Got it? And there will be one management port. Let's assume there will be one more thing called, like, if I want to monitor the health check of this particular instance, whether that universal forward is running or not, its state, there will be one port called 8089, that is the management port. Okay, this is the management port. So the health status of the universal forwarders or other health Splunk components will be monitored using these ports 8089. This is for incoming and this is for web UI. So if I abruptly stop, delete the directory, right? If the ports are being used, whenever you do the installation, right, then it will fail. You got it? So better it is mandatory to stop the Splunk and then delete it rather than deleting the complete directory. Got it? Because it uses the port. Now you may ask one question like how I will check the port is working or not. Like that package is not there. So this is for troubleshooting. Sometimes what happens, right? Uh, okay. Just give me 1 second, okay? I will just stop the screen share and I will install that package. I will try to find that package. Can someone find that netstat package for me? Normally it should be present, but I have installed the bare minimum Linux version. Net tools. Okay. Just a second. Can someone find which package I have to install to get that netstat?
I think that is
Net tools.
net tools.
Net
Yeah.
hyphen. Yes. So even wget also won't work. Got it? You have to explicitly install the wget. When I installed, for the first time, I have explicitly installed that one. Okay. Yum, install net tools. Okay. Now I'm installing this package. Now netstat will work. Netstat hyphen. We can give. Yep, our thing is 8089. Okay. It is not being used. 8000 is not being used. Okay. Next is like 997. It is not being used. Okay. Now what? Where am I? Now I have to go to cd splunk slash bin. Okay. This is the path. So opt splunk bin. This is the path where your startup file of the Splunk would be. Okay. So if I install some, if I this Splunk hyphen start, if I give Splunk hyphen start to know what will happen, right? The Splunk will be started. Okay. So if I give now here, right, what will happen, right? You will get the license agreement page. Okay. So you have to press enter, enter, go to the end of the line, and you have to press Y, right? Instead of that, okay, you have to give Y here. Okay. Instead of that, right? You don't want to do that. Okay. In the while starting itself, we can issue this one. Accept, accept the license. Okay. Whenever you give this one, right, directly that license will be accepted and you will be asked to provide the credentials for logging into the Splunk. Okay. Whenever I install a Splunk, there will be some admin user, no? For that, what is the username you want? I'm giving something like admin. Okay. I'm giving some password. confirming the password.
I just want to make sure to be mindful that some of us are not versed in Linux commands. We're not very
Yeah, we
strong
will.
there yet.
Yeah. I will take that basic commands in future class. Okay, don't worry if you don't know Linux also. So we'll have I will take a class on Windows installation also, not an issue. Okay. So if you see here now, as part of the installation, you check these things. It is checking the port 8000, whether 8089 management port is present or not. Okay, there is some KV store port and all. This one we don't require as of now. Okay, for us like this is 8000 port. If that 8000 port is already used, then you won't be able to access the Splunk UI. Got it? So that's why we should make sure before installing the Splunk whether the ports are available. Okay, in an organization you won't face that issue because this is an independent server. But in your laptop now you may be running sometimes some other applications which may use these ports. No, see if you see here now it is checking the ports first. Okay, leave about this. Okay, now it had showed me this is the URL which I have to use to log into the Splunk. Okay, got it. So this is my Splunk UI. Okay, some people were asking in earlier classes like, so I don't have any VMware, okay, or I don't want to install on Splunk in my local machine. I am having some AWS account. Can I install the Splunk in AWS? Yes, that is possible. Okay, if you want me to take that session now, just create an instance and give for me. Okay, so such that I will be creating an instance and I will show you. Okay, the core thing will be same, but like the ports in like inbound and outbound rules, that would be different. Okay, this is Splunk UI where you will be having the alerts, dashboards, and all those stuff, right? I think like we have only 10 minutes. Will I will take the Splunk architecture followed by the like installation of the universal forwarder and all those in the next classes. Okay, I'm stopping the session. I'm done today. Basically, right, we have seen like how to install the Splunk now in Linux. We'll stop here. I will take the questions now.
So baseline for this means for a Splunk. So for a Splunk enterpriser, we need to install in one of the server, and in the applications, we need to install the universal forward to capture the
Exactly.
all the logs to the Splunk. Is that my
Exactly.
understanding right?
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you. And I have a question regarding so if I want to host this Splunk in the AWS, how can we
Mm.
install the AWS and how can we
Yeah,
capture
like if you
the
are having the
log?
free, see, same. Okay, for Splunk, it is one and the same. It is basically a Linux or a Windows server where your application is installed. Correct?
Yeah, got
So
it.
it needs an IP address or a host name followed by the port.
Okay.
That's what I was mentioning, no? Here, I was telling, no, it needs in output.com where to send. It is something like IP colon port, host name or port. Okay, got it? So every machine, like if it is hosted in AWS or it is hosted in local, both will have these things. It will be able to recognize.
And For Splunk, by default port is 9997. Am I
Hmm,
right?
correct. That is incoming port. So there are like
Incoming port.
multiple ports. So if you go to the complex architecture now, so these are the ports that are available, and this is the cluster deployment in our enterprise. You will have something like this. Till now, right? I have installed only the indexer. If you see, and universal forwarder. These two things only I have taught you. One indexer and one universal forwarder. This universal forwarder will send the data to the indexer, okay, using this triple nine
Okay.
seven port. Got it? You are able to see the triple nine seven port over here, no?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and everything, right? 8089 is the management port. If you see where in
Mm,
8089 you are seeing, right? This is the management port. Okay, so if
mm,
you they want to communicate with other components, no, they will be using the 8089 port. Clear? So there are other components also which we didn't touch, like license server,
okay.
search head, indexer, and all this. For our lab purposes, in our laptops, we can use these two components. That's enough. Okay.
Okay. So
There
we
are
will
like,
cover this
if you,
all the architecture in the
no,
next class.
installations,
Am I right?
architecture will be only the theory thing. Okay. So how to
Okay.
deploy, install, and all this will be part of the admin course. It won't be covered because as a performance tester, we won't be installing this stuff, right? This is not required. For a Splunk admin, he has to install this license server and search head and all those. For us, just for lab purposes, we can use these two. Technically, I think this is only the one which we will be using. Okay, one instant, that should be enough.
Okay. Got
Okay,
it.
for now, this one. Any other doubts? Okay, I will tell this thing also. Splunk certifications I will cover. Yeah. So if you see here, no, there will be some core certified user. Okay. So this one we are already covering. So easily you can clear this one. Okay, as part of our course. Okay. So it is easy only this one. Okay. Next is the power user. Okay. In 70 to 90% we will cover all the topics. Okay, but some remaining 10, if you can concentrate, you should be able to clear the course. Okay, this is like it is easy only. Okay, core user entry would be something like core user, next to power user, and there will be something like advanced power user. Okay, and this is for anyone can take these three, either you are a developer, BA, or a tester, anyone can take these three. Okay, there you will then you will be having something like an admin. So this is meant for the Splunk administrators. Okay, so cloud admin, you will be having something like enterprise admin and enterprise architect. Okay, then enterprise certified consultant, and there will be one more certification, okay, called as developer, where I told you, know, like web framework. Okay, so they will be working on these things, REST API and creating the apps and REST API and REST endpoints. Okay, and there will be, as I mentioned, no, Splunk is widely used for security also. So enterprise security admin. Okay, ITSI. Okay, there is something like Splunk ITSI, and there will be, this is the security related. Okay, SOAR. Okay, these are the typical certifications which we have in the Splunk.
Okay. We can choose any of the certificate, or do we need to?
There is
Is there any
no
hierarchy?
prerequisite.
Hierar
There is no
Yes.
prerequisite.
Okay. So in AWS there are prerequisites. First you need to cover
Hmm.
the certificate, then we go for the high level.
Correct. Correct. But normally what people will do, right? They will skip this one directly. They will take this one. Instead of going to this one, they will take this one and followed by this one. Okay, they will take power user followed by the advanced power user.
So as you mentioned, right, for power user, we will be covering around like 80% in this
Yes.
in your
Yes.
sessions, right?
Correct.
So do Splunk have any kind of learning materials for these?
You have documentation. You have documentation. I will
Okay.
explain like the document. Whenever we go through this, right? I will explain.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
It's better to explain if possible, because
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Sure.
will
Sure.
cover. Okay. Thank you. What's the fee structure of examination fees for the certification? Do you are aware of that?
That Anita, reach out to Anita, no, for this.
No, that's
Yes.
Splunk certification I'm talking about.
Like, it is 10. Like it is something like
Sorry,
300. 10K or 12K. It is in INR. 130.
132
$130.
dollars. Okay.
It will be less than 10K. Core user, it will be 130. Yeah, $130.
Okay.
Do
Got it.
do they like by your experience, like do they provide free certification vouchers through some other
No, no,
campaigns?
not like, no, no, no. They haven't provided till now. Now stop the recording.